You like that?
Except for the gas going up my nose.
We've all seen it. No matter how fast or how slow you shoot, if you're shooting an AR-15, that gas is going to come back through the bolt system and leak out the charging handle and right into your face. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my subscribers. If you're not already a subscriber, I'll put a link here for you. It doesn't matter if you shoot full auto, suppressed is even worse, it seems like. But any AR-15, in my experience, it pushes that gas right in front of your face. It's more noticeable when you shoot fast. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to reduce the amount of gas that gets directed back in your face. Now there's some charging handles out there you can buy, the gas buster and whatnot. It helps redirect the gas away from your face a little bit, but I've found this is a very cheap, or rather inexpensive way to reduce the amount of gas. There's a gap right here between your upper and your charging handle. Take a look at yours next time you get a chance. And what we're going to do is we're going to put some gasket maker that is found at the auto parts store right here in this gap. Fill that gap up, and what it does is it helps reduce the amount of gas that gets in your face. It's real easy to put in. Let me show you. So the steps for sealing up your charging handle are really simple. First, take your bolt out, because it's just going to fall out if you don't. And then remove the charging handle and clean this area up right around in here. You want to make sure there's no oil, like I have a lot of oil on that. And make sure there's no oil on your charging handle back here. I'm just going to use some rubbing alcohol and clean that up. Okay, so now that we have our charging handle cleaned up back here and got the oil removed, and we have it removed on the upper as well, we're going to put the charging handle back in. Make sure it snaps into place. And this is the gap we're going to close up right there. And to do this, I'm going to use a screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver, and just kind of push it in there. You could probably use a little dowel rod or something if you have something, but I'm going to just use a flathead screwdriver as such. So I'm going to put a little bit on here. And this is, it's going to be a little messy. I'm not going to lie to you, but we're going to clean this up later on. We're going to stuff that in there as best we can. There's probably better ways of doing this, but this is the way I'm going to do it. So if you figure out a better way, then power to you, man. It's good to go. But the end result is going to be the same. It's going to keep those gases from coming back in your face, especially with a suppressor. But as I mentioned earlier, even if you don't have a suppressor, I find this incredibly helpful, because shooting 3-gun or just blasting away at the range with your rifle, the gases that come back in your face are just terrible. I mean, it's just really stinky, especially if you want other folks to shoot your AR. That's one of the things most people complain, especially the new shooters. Like, oh man, that stinks so bad. Well, this should alleviate that some. And so it's on here pretty messy. I'm going to wipe it down with my rag. And then after it dries, we're going to come back with a razor blade. We're going to cut it. And I'm going to let this dry overnight. And this is why I'm using black gasket maker as opposed to red or blue or something like that. I mean, I guess you could do that, but you got to make your work a lot more detailed and not as sloppy. I'm getting away with being sloppy today. Plus, I like the black. I don't want it to show. If you have a better method as an applicator, feel free to leave that in the comment section below. So there we go. I've filled in my gap. And then, like I said, we're going to let that dry overnight and come back with a razor blade and clean that up. Okay, so we let our gasket maker dry overnight, and now we're ready to separate it from the upper and the charging handle. We're going to do this by using an X-Acto knife, or a real sharp razor blade with a fine tip. So I'm going to zoom in here on the camera. hopefully we can get this without my hand blocking it. Maybe I'll tip it that way a little bit. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take my razor blade and I'm going to put it right up against the side of the upper, and I'm going to slice through. You can feel the resistance of the polymer from the gasket maker. I'm just going to kind of keep it as close to the upper as I can, drag the blade along it, and turn it as you go. Okay. And that should do it. So let's see, we're probably getting some hang-ons in there, little cling-ons if you will. Not much. That's not too bad. So you see how it seals that up? Takes away that gap that was there before. I'm going to take the charging handle out. We'll get a closer look at any remnants that was left behind. You can kind of see some of it right there. So I'm just going to scrape that off my fingernails. It's hardly much at all. You're probably going to lose a little bit of the seal by taking that off, but I want it gone. The gasket that we put on there is going to seal it up much better than nothing at all. And like I mentioned, even if you don't shoot full auto or suppressed, you just like going and blasting at the range, this is a cheap, easy fix to help reduce the amount of gas that gets diverted back in your face while you're shooting. Alright, well thanks for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the video.